Let's get some perspective now from criminal law expert Ian Allis and legal expert Zola Majavu. My thanks to you both, gentlemen. If I can ask you first, Mr. Majavu, Nandipha Magudumana, not a convicted criminal. At this point, she's accused of murder, violating a corpse, fraud. She also skipped the country with an escaped murderer and rapist. What are her prospects of bail?
Good evening, Tembakan. Good evening to the viewers out there. Firstly, in terms of our law, she is entitled to the same constitutionally entrenched protection rights in terms of Section 35, namely that she is to be regarded as innocent until proven guilty. However, the conspectors of the facts that are pertinent to her, in my respectful view, seem to militate strongly against any possible bail application. Yes, she is entitled to bring one, but I doubt whether in the present circumstances she would discharge the onus that would be resting on her to show that there are exceptional circumstances that warrant her release, or further that it would be in the interest of justice that she is released. She is facing serious charges, one, but the mere fact that she was arrested as a fugitive, and if the media reports are anything to go by, she was arrested in a foreign country, close onto the border of another country, found in possession of other false passports. That's a classic textbook case of all the more reasons why such an application should not be successful. But she is entitled and perfectly within her rights to bring up one. But my guess, it doesn't stand a chance in hell. I think it's a stillborn application, but I don't want to sound disrespectful to her rights or the legal strategy that her lawyers may employ. But it's a dead one. I think it doesn't even get out of the starting blocks, in my view.
And Ian, given the circumstances and the rap sheet that we've just outlined for Nandipha Magudumana, what does that mean for those who try to portray her as some sort of a victim, basically someone who was coerced, when you consider that she'd made multiple visits to the Mangaung Correctional Center where this man escaped? They'd lived together, we're hearing, allegedly, after he broke out of prison, and that she was central to his escape plan, then fled the country with him, arrested together, still on the run in Tanzania.
Hi, Tembakan, and hi, good evening to the viewers. I have to admit, and in my humble opinion, as people have been watching too much bad American TV, the fact is, and as Zola actually said, everybody's entitled to a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. But here comes the fact. If she wants to try and allege down the line that there's some sort of mental defect defense or Stockholm syndrome, she could try and do that as a defense. It's not going to help her in her bail application. Secondly, it's absolute nonsense in regards to this charge itself. She knew precisely what she was doing. The fact is, there's been other reports and other communications and postings of her talking to private detectives and being caught out with regards to the car and various other and the ground up report and various other communications. Those could all go ahead and come into the fray with regards to any of her supposed trauma that she's been forced to undertake to protect this man. She was an able and willing participant in the act. This is clear to be seen. She was also, we still don't know to the extent of of her involvement from a financial perspective, of whether she was actively involved with financially bribing certain of the parties, which would also be added to her charges should that come out as well. But as far as that goes, there's no mercy that can be dished out for her on that as a defense. And the people who are supporting this and supporting her almost in the form of a battered wife, it's not going to hold water.
Zola Majavu, let me come back to you and talk about Thabo Bester, because he was already in prison serving life for rape and murder, broke out of prison, was out for almost a year. There's still the issue of a man whose corpse was found in his cell, basically passed off as his charred remains at the time. How much more can the state pursue in punishing him for some of the crimes committed since breaking out of prison, allegedly, when you consider that he was already in for a life sentence?
Well, the rule of law must always be upheld. It matters not that he was already serving time for previously.
Zola Majavu, are you still with us? I suspect we've lost Zola Majavu there. He did tell us before we began our conversation that he was having an issue with load shedding, stage 6, if you're wondering. That means you're likely to be without power for about 4 hours straight at some point today if you're in areas such as Gauteng. Ian Allis, let me come back to you and pose that question to you. So Thabo Bester, already convicted, in prison, was supposed to be serving a life sentence. He's been moved to a maximum security facility, different to where he was in Mangaung. How hard do you expect the state will come for him for the deeds committed allegedly since he broke out of jail?
Let me put it simply, Timbukile, is how much is too much. The problem that ends up happening in a situation like this, it's what they were serving as life sentence so far. So even if he's convicted of these other crimes, he's already serving a life sentence. What they're going to do, add another life sentence for another murder and have him in maximum security now. So instead,
Ian Allis, have we lost you as well? Ian, I'm told you may have muted yourself. Let's see if that's the issue.
Hello?
Oh, there you go. We can hear you now, Ian. Please continue where you were.
All that's going to happen is that his prison conditions might just be made harder. So he'll be in a solitary confinement cell for 23 out of 24 hours a day under under better guards. That's all that can in actual fact that can actually happen now. So that's all it is.
And I want to talk about what's been happening.
They could just make it more onerous.
Right.
Otherwise, they can't say it.
Ian, okay, I think we're having a bit of an issue with a delay now on the line that we've got you back. What I wanted to ask you was about what we're watching unfold now in Parliament, where the Police Ministry and the Justice and Correctional Services Department have been asked about what they did to warn the women who'd previously been sexually abused by Bester that he was out and to ensure their protection. Is there grounds there for those women to pursue some kind of action against the state?
Well, the one thing that's important at the moment is that luckily, and this is a saving grace, that nobody was harmed. But the fact is that if one looks at even the original Carl Michel case, about the failure of the state to adequately protect victims and people. I would say that if they were harmed, they would have a very good case at this present moment.
Mm-hmm. So
the state could consider themselves lucky that they're not getting sued and big time for this.
If someone did want to sue, though, would they have good prospects of success, especially when you consider how long he was out and the fact that we've now learned that, in fact, conversations about the fact that he had was suspected to have escaped, were going on in late 2022 already, yet only in March was there a fast-tracking of the process to find him, and that was only because of media pressure.
It's been an absolute circus. A person would be entitled to actually a significant claim if they were harmed on this basis. It's been a complete blunder from the Department of Correctional Services, as well as from the minister. And I was watching at Parliament, the minister's reaction as well. It's complete unaccountability. They can say sorry and say what they want. The fact is, if this hadn't been brought up by Judge Cameron originally, Mr. Bester would still be walking around freer than anybody.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Ian Allis speaking to us, as well as Zola Majavu, both legal experts.